So he says that when I'm in Paris, I went to French Parliament.
This is the talking of Abdul-Baha,
Yeah.
with the notes by
Yeah.
Jason Hansen. That would have been during the time, I think, of the First or Second French Republic.
Is it 1912?
I'm not sure when the First Republic was after Napoleon Bonaparte and
Okay.
This one is
Leo, can you read it?
false.
While
Okay.
he has read it, yeah.
It's false.
In this course, I'll start right from me. This talk at the Hotel Plaza Sitaco in Minorities, notes by Joseph H. Hanel. In this course, consultation is of vital importance, but spiritual conference and not the mere voicing of personal views is intended. In France, I was present at the session of the Senate, but the experience was not impressive. Parliamentary procedures should have for its object the attainment of the light of truth upon questions presented and not furnish a battleground for opposition and self-opinion. Antagonisms and contradictions are unfortunate and always destructive to truth. In the parliamentary meeting mentioned, altercations and useless scribblings were frequent. The result mostly confusion and turmoil. Even in one instance, a physical encounter took place between two members. It was not consultation but comedy, Abdul-Baha.
Maybe if Taruno, you also can read it, because I think just to settle into the program.
Yeah.
Notes by Joseph H. Hannon. In this course, consultation is of vital importance, but spiritual conference and not the mere voicing of personal views is intended. In France, I was present at a session of the Senate, but the experience was not impressive. Parliamentary procedure should have for its object the attainment of the light of truth upon questions presented and not furnish a battleground for opposition and self-opinion. Antagonism and contradiction are unfortunate and always destructive to truth. In the parliamentary meeting mentioned, altercation and useless quibbling were frequent. The result mostly confusion and turmoil. Even in one instance, a physical encounter took place between two members. It was not consultation, but comedy.
Okay. Let's go back to this.
Moshe, I was going to mention you were at the station before. Was your station Abdul-Baha?
Sorry.
Or Minto?
Winter.
Minto, yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay.
My station is Abdul-Baha.
Abdul-Baha. Okay. Right, okay, so that's the one that you tune in to and listen to, is it?
The one where I alight or
Okay.
Out there, everybody listens to one station. It's WWIFM.
Oh,
Yes, everybody listens to that. Right? What's in it for me?
amplitude modulation or frequency modulation?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's a perfect example of what's in it for me. When everybody's centered about themselves, then these strifes happen. So what's in it for me is that's what we are talking about, right? Now, what we need to focus on is certain words. Number one, what's the aim of consultation? And what's consultation? What's consultation in your opinion? What's consultation? Somebody, just 2 minutes, 2 words, sentences, whatever. What do you think consultation?
Discussing the issues amongst people.
Okay, you can call it consultation, but then you consult a doctor as well, so that's advice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So and then that's a serious advice as well. You take it as and you take his opinion seriously. You don't just, you know, and you don't argue against that opinion, right? You might seek another opinion, but then you won't seek your brother's opinion. You'll seek another doctor's opinion, right? So consultation probably would mislead some people into understanding that getting a professional opinion. Right, so probably a negotiation would be a better word in this instance. That we negotiate a position, and so that's what I would say, or seeking counsel. Right, seeking counsel. That would be a better word. Because seeking counsel, it's got nothing to do with counseling. In counseling, you're not supposed to give your opinion. Seeking counsel is like when the king wants to make a decision. He will get some experts and he will seek an opinion from the experts, and then he makes a choice, right? So that would be what we are talking here about, is exactly. So consultation, what he means is that we are seeking counsel. We are seeking counsel. And so when we come together, we seek counsel. And so therefore, here we see that he's presenting that when we come together, if we are not in that position where we are seeking counsel, right? Then we are actually presenting our own opinion, and we are centered around ourselves. It's always better to be other-centered. So now we had the example of the doctor that asked for a opinion from the House of Justice, was it? Yes. And so basically they said to him, you know, what is the best for the others, for the multitude? So that means House of Justice was trying to guide the person to be other-centered, but not only an individual-centered, but a community-centered person. Because ultimately, that's what we need to do, is to be community-centered. But in a relationship between husband and wife, they can be centered on each other. And that's how the relationship will work. If I'm centered on my wife, I do what I think is good for her, and she's centered on me to do what she thinks is good for her, for me, then the relationship will work. But if my wife is centered on herself, and she says, oh, you didn't buy me that diamond ring that I wanted, or, you know, I am focused on myself, why didn't you let me buy that beautiful car that I like? Something like that, you know. So we are all centered on our needs, it won't work. So we got to be other person centered. That's the important thing, right? And what happens when we are self-centered? Then we have opposition, right? Antagonism. What's antagonism?
Enmity.
Animosity.
Almost the same.
Animosity or provocation, in a way, right? So you antagonize somebody, you provoke him, you show animosity towards him, and you provoke him to react to you. Contradiction, right? What's that?
It means talking opposed to others.
Okay, so you look for what is negative in the person's presentation, right? And highlight the negativeness of that. So that's what contradiction would be. And then And then what happens when these things are into play? Destruction of the truth. The result, the outcome is destruction of the truth. Now we can go.
The purpose is to emphasize the statement that consultation must have for its object the investigation of truth. He who expresses an opinion should not voice it as correct and right, but set it forth as a contribution to the consensus of opinion. For the light of reality becomes apparent when two opinions coincide. A spark is produced when flint and steel come together. Man should weigh his opinions with the utmost serenity, calmness, and composure. Before expressing his own views, he should carefully consider the views already advanced by others. If he finds that a previous expressed opinion is more true and worthy, he should accept it immediately and not willfully hold to an opinion of his own. By this excellent method, he endeavors to arrive at unity and truth.
Can I put this to the test? Sure. Okay, you've got the present crisis in Israel at the moment, right? So there's a lot of...
That's a can of worms. That's not. So we can't discuss that here.
Well, it is a big issue, but
yeah, that's right.
there's a lot of dynamics at play. There's a lot of history at the root of these things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fixed views. There's a lot of political interests invested in. But there is ultimately a way to move forward with some of these things, isn't there? I mean, as Baha'is, I suppose compassionately we look on tearfully and painfully at like two siblings beating themselves to oblivion and killing each other. But you know, I mean, there's a lot of sad issues that, you know, you've got a dispossessed community, angry and bitter. You've got families, and you know, all that trauma doesn't go to bed quietly, does it? You know.
No.
I think part of this is about, and what you said before, that the education is praiseworthy, but to become educated about these things, it seems that the knowledge is, it's in echelons, you know, like it's impossible for us all to become
Doctors of this.
No, to be educated about the conflict that you speak of. That knowledge and information isn't available to the likes of us. There are others that are set aside in some way in order to deal with these kinds of things, and as you say, it's painful or it's sad to watch this destruction happen, and you know, to have a common you know, positive feeling about, you know, wanting the outcome, but it's not fixed.
Yeah. So basically, education is not the answer. Ultimately, education is good, but education doesn't change the heart of people. Education gives you information. What changes the heart of people, as we will see, is spirituality, right? And spirituality is the connection with the divine. So let's just focus on this, please. Let's not just go. There's plenty that we can go in this world and discuss, because we're not here to discuss all of that. We are here to digest what is before us, please.
Okay, I'll share with you that initially when I came to Australia, it was for the first time my encounter with democracy as in a level that I was sort of reading about it on the papers and on the news. I was hearing about it. Before that, I was in Australia, in Iran and India, and I wasn't in touch with these things that happening in the parliament. But here then I saw that the sessions of the parliament are being shown. So I was an eyewitness with what happened in the parliament in Australia. I could see. And there was an interview conducted with one of the members of the parliament who was from the opposite party. So suppose Labour at that time, it was during Bob Hope time, Labour was the government and National Liberal were the opposition. And this reporter was talking to one of the opposition. He said, by the virtue that I am the opposition member, I should oppose any suggestion they put forward.
That's it.
So you see, his mind was set not to consult, not to seek the truth. His mind was set that whatever they say, I should put it down. I should oppose it. I should put my fingers towards it and humiliate the guy who has said it and the program that they are going to do and make it look like a failure.
Like cats and dogs.
Yeah. So I was thinking that, whoa, member of parliament, a person who has been voted by masses of people, and this is the parliament of the federal of Australia. This is the most civilized nation on earth, one of the most civilized nations on earth. And this guy, he thinks that he should oppose everything which is put forward by the other party.
You know, with this consultation, do we have to take assumptions though? Like maybe what I am thinking, maybe it might be perfect. And then I consult with the people and they gave me some sort of bad advice. Like, how do we know in the consult?
Okay,
We actually get into that.
we'll get into that.
Okay.
But we're you know, okay. The purpose, let's read that again, please. Somebody read it so we can focus again.
Oh, I read it?
Yeah.
The purpose is to emphasize the statement that consultation must have for its own its object the investigation of truth. He who expresses an opinion should not voice it as correct and right, but set it forth as a contribution to the consensus of opinion, for the light of reality becomes apparent when two opinions collide. A spark is produced when flint and steel come together.
Okay, let's stop there. Now let's digest what. Can you go back up, please? Back down, whatever. So the purpose of consultation, or what we said, like seeking a counsel, is to reach the truth, investigate and reach to the truth, right? That is the ultimate goal, right? Without it is not. It's useless. If we just want to talk for the sake of talking, it's useless. Now, the word investigation is very important, because the word investigation says to me that if you don't do your preparation, right, you need to do preparation. Investigate what is needed before you talk, before you give an opinion, right? It's useless to just come and say, oh, I think this. How did you get that information? Where did you get it from? Investigate first. Investigate first. Study the subject first. Study what you're going to be talking about first before and educate yourself about it before you give an opinion. You know, giving an opinion without education is ignorance, right? It's who needs an opinion? Like this guy, he said, you know, in the parliament, I will oppose everything, right? Just because I'm an opposition leader. Is that a good opinion? No. You have to investigate. You have to understand. You don't. And the reason why we have people like that is because our system allows it, right? Our system allows it, and anybody who's popular can, like the years ago I was discussing with Humayun that the fish and chips lady became a parliamentarian, right? And when people used to talk to her, she understood nothing. Please explain, she was. That was their famous thing, that she was, please explain, because she knew nothing. So what do these parliamentarians do? If they do their proper duty, is they have to listen to their department and listen to what the researchers in that department are saying, right? And then digest that and then bring a worthwhile contribution, right? But most of them don't. Yeah.
I just observed something amazing. A forum is like a mirror. It reflects back to you what's put into it, and I think that's pretty powerful. It's not other things, talking to yourself and reading a book. They don't talk back to you, but a forum, you put your opinion in a forum, and it talks to everybody, really, doesn't it? Like a mirror, spiritual mirror.
So it gets tested. Your opinion gets tested inside with the other opinions. Now there is here a spark is produced when a flint and steel come together. So when flint and steel is rubbed together, there's a spark. There's another famous saying in the Proverbs by King Solomon. It says, iron sharpens iron, and a man sharpens his friend. So we learn from each other, we sharpen each other, right? This is basically this is what it's saying, and right, are we still there, or we changed back?
No, it's good.
It's still. This is the first page. No.
Sorry.
Yes. Okay. Can we go up a bit or whatever, down, where we were? Yes.
The spark producer and its flame.
Yes, a spark producer together. Okay. Man should weigh his opinion. Again, investigate, weigh your opinion. Don't just speak like a fool. Whatever comes to your mind, you have to speak it. Oh, this is a nice idea. No, you have to weigh your opinion before you actually present it with the utmost serenity, right? Calmness and composure. So you have to, in other words, we spoke about hearing God the other day, and we said that God says in His Word, be still and know that I am God. So in stillness of mind, in stillness of character, you investigate. Don't just rush and say, oh, this is a great idea, oh, I'm going to do this, No, in stillness, calmness, and composure, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes, composure before you present your opinion, and investigation and weighing it. Does it look right or does it look wrong? Before expressing his own views, should carefully consider views already advanced by others. Very important. This is now you go to any study institution or an institution of education, they will tell you, we're not interested in your opinion. You have to go read other books, see what it is said about that subject, right, before you write on it. And you have to prove that you've you've understood something, and you don't put it in their words, you have to put it in your words. In other words, you have to digest it and understand it, and then you put it in your own words, right? So if you don't, then that is, not acceptable. You're either parroting somebody else's mind, you haven't digested it, or your opinion is invalid. because you haven't done your homework on it, right? So where are we up to?
If he finds that the previous expressed opinion.
If he finds that a previous expressed opinion is true, worthy, he should accept it immediately and willfully hold on.
And not willful.
Not willfully. And not willfully hold on to an opinion of his own. So, what does that tell you about a person like that? What does it tell you about a person who's got this opinion, and somebody else, and I've got this opinion, and I'm very convinced, right, that I am right, and you come and prove me wrong. And if I stand up and say, "Nah, mate, you're wrong. I don't want to believe you. You're wrong. You're just wrong." What does that show you?
That you haven't come to this table to consult.
No, that I'm arrogant.
Arrogant, yeah, exactly.
Right? If I say, "Yeah, man, I think you're right. I think I'm wrong," what does that convey to you? Humility.
Humility.
Right? Now, the think about the greatest people, the greatest teachers of this world, right, is that the word that they have to know is, "I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll look into it." Right? We are told and taught in universities that it is not wrong to say, "I don't know." Right? Be humble enough to admit that you don't know, and you will look into it. Or admit that you are wrong, because I mean, how many times we had science that were, that they had this idea, and they believed that the earth was flat. Now they know that it's round, and all of these things, right? So and some people are still going back to flat earth, but we're not going to discuss that. But anyway, but this is where we are at, is the interplay of humility as well, the character of the person as well interplays into these negotiations or consultations, or as we said, seeking counsel. Right.
It's also knowledge, isn't it? Like if you have a knowledge of something, you need to put that forth if it's contextually appropriate.
Yeah, well, that's what we're saying. You have to research it, not have a knowledge about it. If you have it already, that's good. If not, go and do it. Right? That's what we're saying. So, okay, where are we up to?
By this excellent method?
By this excellent method, you just read it, please. Yeah.
By this excellent method, he endeavors to arrive at unity and truth.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what's unity? In a different word, what's unity?
Oneness.
Okay?
Oneness.
Oneness. When you listen to people singing with that music, what do you call that?
A cappella.
Harmony.
Harmony.
Harmony. When all these people, all these voices harmonize together, it sounds like music. It sounds so. What do we try to achieve is harmony. Right? And harmony makes a nice sound.
It does.
Nice sound. It's
the low and the highs, and they all marry together and make a beautiful.
That's right. So
combination.
So and then that is the truth. When harmony comes into play, because you see, even in the Old Testament, I'm naturally Jewish. I will refer to the Old Testament. We don't call it the Old Testament. We call it Tanakh, right? So, because there's no New Testament for the Jewish people, but that's beside the point, right? So, now in the Old Testament, when God is talking to a nation, He calls the name of their forefather and say, "Oh, you Jacob," to Israel, right? And "Oh, you Edom," the sons of Edom, the Edomites. Edom, right? His father. So So why do we need to harmonize? Because even though that we are individuals, we are one body. One body. And one body cannot, the leg cannot go that way and the hand that other way and all that. We have to walk together. That's why we need harmony. And harmony leads us to truth, to the truth. Right? Yes.
Can I ask something I don't understand entirely about harmony? Is somehow means resonance or assonance and dissonance in music anyway. Is that sound that some people think that it's quite nice or quite appealing, but they don't feel that it's nice in the same way that a resonant or assonant sound is.
It's dramatic.
As in harmony. If there are conflicting notes in a scale, for example, they don't create that harmony or that resonance. It's only the harmony can only be created in certain key thing. Where in some jazz music, for example, there are sounds that aren't resonant or assonant. They're dissonant sounds, but they create pleasure, bless you, that still is regarded as
harmony. Yeah, that's very good technical knowledge, but it's very technical for us to understand. But
it's a slippery thing to get hold of,
Yeah.
I mean, I always unity just go. Yeah. When I hear harmony, I can hang on to that.
Yeah.
Medic.
Opposition and division are deplorable. It is better than to have the opinion of a wise, sagacious man, otherwise contradiction and altercation in which varied and divergent views are presented will make it necessary for a judicial body to render decision upon the question. Even a majority...
Just let's stop. Can you go back a bit? Okay, so you see what's happening when there's opposition. What happens? The result is division. There's no harmony. Right? There's no harmony, division. Everybody's playing his own instrument at a different key level, right? And it doesn't sound like the same,
harmonious.
song. Yeah, harmonious. So, and it's deplorable. Like if I play my guitar and it's not tuned up to your piano, what does it sound like? Right. That's right.
Sometimes if it's that randomness that can create sound.
That's right. But that's not always.
It's artistic rather than scientific.
So basically, that's okay. So the next part, we just move on because.
Does anybody know what the word sagacious means?
It's to do with sage, isn't it?
Yeah, sagacious.
Okay. Yep.
Wise.
Wise person.
Even a majority?
Teacher, wise teacher.
Even a majority opinion or consensus may be incorrect. 1,000 people may hold to one view and be mistaken, whereas one sagacious person may be right.
Okay. Here, perfect example that those people that voted this member that Brother Beiruz was talking about, right? I have to oppose everything because I'm an opposition leader, right? So thousands have voted for him, and yet he didn't know what he was doing. So that means that those people weren't right in voting for that person. They did not investigate. They did not do their homework about who are we voting for, right? So this is another thing. So next, please. Yeah.
Therefore, true consultation is spiritual conference in the attitude and atmosphere of love. Members must love each other in the spirit of fellowship in order that good results may be forthcoming. Love and fellowship are the foundation. Abdul Baha.
Okay. Now we moved out. So this is where I said to you, knowledge is not good enough. The outcome here, members must love each other in the spirit of fellowship, spiritual fellowship, right? These are all spiritual qualities. They're not knowledge. This is practicing spirituality. Love, right? Fellowship are the foundation. So why is fellowship important? Why is fellowship important? Can somebody tell me why is fellowship important?
Fellowship is a ground ready for acceptance of others, for a peaceful process to emerge, that a sound decision will be made. Without fellowship, everything fall apart.
Okay. Now, you said one word that I want to emphasize is acceptance. I learned to accept you over time. You know, I might present to you, you might present to me as an angry person. But then I get used to your anger and I say, oh, he only gets angry in this thing, but otherwise he's okay, He likes this, but he doesn't like this. It's okay. So acceptance, we accept each other as we are in fellowship. We don't reject each other. And then we listen to each other more intently. We listen with love to each other because we've accepted each other. We've accepted the weaknesses and the strengths of each other. And that's what fellowship does. Over time, you get used to each other and yes, Merrick.
Oh, I was going to say another reason fellowship is important. Behruz mentioned that person that completed the medical study, if he was in Australia and didn't become a member of the Fellowship of the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of General Practitioners, he wouldn't be able to use any of the knowledge and education and conference that he had gathered to do any good. He could just, I guess, do something else. He wouldn't be able to practice that knowledge and that skill and talent he had acquired without membership of that particular fellowship.
Of course, and we have licenses through these bodies as well. Right. What was your name, sir?
My name is Prince.
Prince.
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you, Prince. Robert's my God bless
See
you.
you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
I think Marita.
The most memorable instance of spiritual consultation was the meeting of the disciples of Jesus Christ upon the mount after his ascension. They said, Jesus Christ has been crucified, and we have no longer association and intercourse with him in his physical body. Therefore, we must be loyal and faithful to him. We must be grateful and appreciate him. For he has raised us from the dead. He made us wise. He has given us eternal life. What shall we do to be faithful to him? And so they held council. One of them said, we must detach ourselves from the chains and fetters of the world. Otherwise we cannot be faithful.
Yes.
The others replied, that is so. Another said, either we must be married and faithful to our wives and children, or serve our Lord free from these ties. We cannot be occupied with the care and provision for families and at the same time herald the kingdom in the wilderness. Therefore, let those who are unmarried remain so, and those who have married provide means of sustenance and comfort for their families, and then go forth to spread the message of glad tidings. There were no dissenting voices. All agreed, saying, that is right. A third disciple said, to perform worthy deeds in the kingdom, we must be further self-sacrificing. From now on, we should forego ease and bodily comfort. accept every difficulty, forget self, and teach the cause of God. This found acceptance and approval by all the others. Finally, a fourth disciple said, "There is still another aspect to our faith and unity. For Jesus' sake, we shall be beaten, imprisoned, and exiled. They may kill us. Let us receive this lesson now. Let us realize and resolve that though we are beaten, punished, cursed, spat upon, and led forth to be killed, we shall accept all this joyfully, loving those who hate and wound us." All the disciples replied, "Surely we will, it is agreed. This is right." Then they descended from the summit of the mountain, and each went forth in a different direction upon his divine mission.
Okay. Now, let me tell you that the picture that he's painting here is not does not exist in the Gospels, right? But nevertheless it is a nice picture, and that for us to assume that the disciples had grown that fast after the the death of and resurrection of Jesus, as it is portrayed in the Gospels, it is not they were very confused according to the Gospel. They didn't know what to do. Peter suggested to go to fishing, and they went fishing and everything. But nevertheless, he's trying to paint a picture for us that these people eventually got to an agreement, and that agreement is that what you will see in the writings of Paul, right? So the first one, can we go to the first one? What did the first one says? No, what did the first one say? All right, can we read that one?
We must detach ourselves from the chains and fetters of this world.
Okay, so that is in the writings of James, right? It's saying that we should not be worldly. We should we should not love the world. We should love righteousness. And also in the writings, in the letters of the
Paul.
First letter of John as well, you will see that you shouldn't love the world. You shouldn't conform to the world. Paul also says, do not conform to this world in chapter 12 of Romans, right? And verse 1. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. How do you renew your mind? Is reading the Word, reading Holy Scriptures, meditating upon them, right? You renew your mind, and you go and comply with what is, because we have tendency to think carnally. We have tendency to think, if somebody hurts me, I have to hurt them. I can't forgive them, right? But if we cleanse ourselves with the Word and our mind with the Word, then we will learn to forgive. We will learn to do the other things that we are. And what's the next one then? What's the next one? Second one, you said.
Either we must be married and faithful to a wife and children, or serve our Lord free from these ties.
Okay, that's Corinthians chapter 7, right? And that's where Paul is saying that, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 7, he's saying you can be married and stay married, or if you want to, if you're divorced or if you don't have a wife, then stay without a wife and serve God, But if you're married, you have to look after your marriage and you look after your family, and that is also repeated in Paul to Timothy. He's saying to the people, to Timothy, advise the people who has a wife and children to look after their family, because not looking after your family is an evil of a non-believer. So that's from Paul, right? So, but that's, never mind, that's there. Right. What's the third one?
To perform worthy deeds in the kingdom, we must be further self-sacrificing.
Self-sacrificing. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Very
Is that-
And now we should forgo ease and bodily comfort, accept every difficulty, forget self, and teach the cause of God.
Okay, so really, this is like what we said before. It's not being centered on your own needs, not being centered on what you have, and that's also in a lot of places in the writings of the apostles, right? So many places, right? Then the last one.
Finally, a fourth disciple said, there is still another aspect to faith and unity. For Jesus' sake, we shall be beaten, imprisoned, and exiled. They may kill us. Let us receive this lesson now. Let us realize and resolve that though we are beaten, banished, cursed, spat upon, and led forth to be killed, we shall accept all this joyfully, loving those who hate and wound us.
So basically, before they said that, Jesus said that in Matthew 5. Blessed are you if they persecute you and say anything about me because of me to you and all that, because you are, be glad because your reward is great in heaven. But nevertheless, in the writings as well, in the writings of Peter, he's saying, count it all joy. In the writing, count it all joy if you suffer. Also, James is writing as well, count it all joy because you're suffering. So basically, yes, it's all there. But, as I'm saying, this has developed over time. That like we grow and we understand, they grew and understood and they started writing it. And it was a consensus and the harmony increased amongst them, right?
All the disciples replied, surely we will, it is agreed, this is right. Then they descended from the summit of the mountain, and each went forth in a different direction upon his divine mission.
Each of them went in a different direction because the persecution started in Jerusalem. There was a very bad persecution. So somebody went north, south, east, whatever. Thomas the apostle went east and reached India, all the way to India. And he preached to the Assyrians and became the saint of the Assyrians. So but that happened as well.
Is this meant to be post-Pentecost?
It is, yes.
So this is after the day of Pentecost or whatever?
That's right, yeah. It's not. What happened is after the baptism of the Holy Spirit, so to speak, and it's after chapter 2 of Acts we're talking about. That's what happened after the Holy Spirit descended upon the disciples, and then the disciples, the first one that preached was Peter, and there was about 4,000 or 5,000 people that repented on that day, and then there was another few thousands added every day or every few days, whatever, to the number, and they used to fellowship inside the temple. They had a presence in the temple, because the temple used to be like anybody who's a rabbi or is knowledgeable. People will gather to them. It was a common ground, and people will come to him, to the preferred rabbi, and they listen to him. Or so they used to take advantage of that, and they used to utilize it.
Friends, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave. I'm sorry not to stay for the whole lesson. but
That's
I think
okay.
you're
We finished.
You're finished. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
See you, Mickey.
See you.
See you.
Okay. This
Thank
is finished.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Do you know, I want to say something, the paragraph before this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
You spoke so beautiful about the investigation of truth.
Mm.
And when I was looking, and you explained it so really beautiful, because one of the greatest principles of the Baha'i faith is the investigation of truth.
Mm.
So, you know, and also you explained so deep the unity. Also, one of the principles of the Baha'i faith is the oneness of humanity, the oneness of God. But the way you really explained it was really powerful, beautiful. No wonder why they're all principles of the Baha'i faith. You know, like we cannot become Baha'i by followers. You know, even if I was born from Baha'i parents, I still have to investigate the truth myself. You know, which is so beautiful. Like growing up from a Christian background, because I was born Catholic. So I just became Catholic because my parents were Catholic and everyone was Catholic. But not knowing anything. I didn't know anything. But being Baha'i, it's very important. All these principles, we must investigate the truth.
Well,
but the way you explained it was very beautiful.
yeah, thank you. They say the word says the truth and the word of the Lord shall come out of Zion. So I'm Jewish, and I belong to that tradition of Zion. So the word of God shall come out of Zion. That's a prophecy, right? And so I can explain it because I'm familiar with these principles, and that's where it comes from. So, you know, and we thank God that they are not our principles, they are revealed principles from God for us to follow. Thank you for your word anyway. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Dear friends, we have come to the end of tonight's session, and thank you all for being tonight here.
Friends, we're going to finish
Richard
with
coming from far off land.
Everyone will say a prayer.
He is God. Thou seest us, O my God, gathered around this table, praising thy bounty, with our gaze set upon thy kingdom. O Lord, send down upon us thy heavenly food, and confer upon us thy blessing. Thou art verily the bestower, the merciful, the compassionate. Abdul-Baha.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Sorry if I
friends.
took too long.